Hello, this is Vance, and this is Tuesday, April the 4th, 2017. These are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. Now, this morning I did a early morning bite, I call it, as far as the market was concerned. I've got it up right here. I published it on YouTube. And you can see that I was discussing a couple of things. I talked about this overnight move, talked about how price is moving sideways, and this is just before the open. And I talked about prices doing a couple of things. And I'll just kind of squeeze this forward because this is right off the YouTube channel, showing you that I showed that either prices are going to go up higher from this point or prices are going to go lower. I mean, no big secret there, of course. Now, I also briefly discussed that the reason I thought the reason that price would have to go lower at this point is that I'd really have to break through with this area that what I saw as support. And this area, and the area that I'm talking about is right around here, you know. And I mean, I was talking about this as this area of support because of the fact that price had already gone. This was the overnight. This was really just before 9 o'clock, and this was just really at 9 o'clock. Okay. Now, I also discussed the fact that price could go down a little bit lower here, and I said that if we had follow through, it could bounce at this area, and that's what another thing that I was talking about this morning. Now, if you look at let me just kind of clear this off here. You can see that on the chart, this is on the YouTube channel again, that when I was discussing it, I was showing that this is where the follow-through would happen and perhaps even bounce and then return at this area. But at this point, it's all speculation. I don't know what's going to actually happen. The point is that either price is going to go up or price is going to go down. And that's one of the two things that you can certainly know, or stay the same, and likely that's not going to be the case. My idea, however, is that my expectation is that it was more likely if I was to put on the way I was talking about it, and this went for this morning as well, is that my feeling is that likely we're probably going to go up higher rather than lower. And the reason I felt that is because this overnight move right here, context really dictated that once price maybe solidified here, it would move up higher. Now, that was in the back of my mind. So what I was looking for, and I don't know this is actually going to happen, but what I was looking for is that if I'm looking at going long, looking at going long near these bottoms here. And if I'm looking at going short, I want to wait till it turns around up to here. Now, if price breaks down and goes in this direction, I probably am going to miss it. Unless, of course, that there's a tremendous amount of follow-through because, and this is the reason that I'm going to likely miss this particular trade, is because price, the 15 ticks that we would see here would not allow me to get above where an area of resistance, where I see a area of resistance. So you would have to really kind of jump on the bandwagon to get the short, in my opinion. Now, the only way you could get short is if you're up near the top here. Now, okay, that was the setup part. Now, let's go to the trades. Okay, now this is my chart. This is my chart from today. Later on, of course, you can see that there's some similarities here. This is the area that I was talking about right at the open. Let me just switch this to a pointer. This was the area that I was talking about right at the open. And you can see this was the first bounce. This is really before 9 o'clock. This is 9 o'clock right here. So you can see right at the bottom of this chart here, this is 9 a.m. So the first bar we had, you see price did dip down below that area. Not enough, no follow through. It returned, and this is really a second entry long right here. But it's just before 9 o'clock, like a few minutes before that. So price moves down here. This is a first entry, pulls back, second entry long. But it really hasn't broken this channel. We don't have the 9 o'clock, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, that 15 tick can be taken off very quickly. When 9 o'clock turns around, we have this first strong bar here, and then another strong bar here, and I dropped an order here on 48. It came back. I dropped an order on 48. Now, my stop was at 50.33, which was right here. And as a result, price did start to move out. It kind of slopped around a bit. It got my first contracts off. Then it pulled back. I took the second contract. I took my first contract at 15 ticks, and then it started to overlap here. And I looked at this area. Now, this is probably an area to go short. You could go short here. And the reason was because the channel is broken and then maybe drop in a short. Now, that's an aggressive trade because it's kind of early. You're going against what this big overnight move was in the first place. Again, I'm not sure that I don't see that this isn't enough to say that the price is going to come all the way down to here, in my opinion. But when you had this kind of follow through, then maybe it's going to hit here and then see what the follow through is going to be at the bottom. So as a result, what had happened is that I got the first two contracts off on that contract, and then I got the first one off. The other one is my other targets were above here. So if I'm in at 48, and then the next contract is going to be off at 78, which 78 is up here now. When price started to stop up and turn around, I closed the other contract out as roughly about plus 15. My runner was still up above this area. I left that in place. I moved the stop up, and then what had happened is that price did come back down, turned over, and stopped me out. It got me out at really right at 48. So that one was gone right here. So price now. Did I hold on to a little bit too long? Perhaps. I mean, but you never know, because what I was looking at is that when you look at this area right here, and you don't have this ahead of time. When I was looking at this area right here, this does look like maybe a solidification. Maybe prices start gonna. This is just this is the first break, second break to a new low, and now price is going to move up beyond this area. But as you can see, if this is the top of let's say this is the top, this micro double top that just kind of broke through this area, it turns around again. Now, I put a mark on here as a short, because if this is the top of a channel, your 15 ticks is above here, it may be worth taking if you think that price is going to come back down here and turn over here. Now, to get in on a short trade like this one, it's not necessarily a bad setup. Might be a little bit early, but this is really based on the fact that price looks like it's stopping up at this area in the short term. I don't think it's going to be a reversal or a real counter trend, just a small reversal, if anything. So as price comes back down to this area, now, you see that this is a second entry long right here, and price stops up, tries to go down again, a micro double bottom. You can make that argument, but as you can see that there's hesitation here. And when price turned around at this point with a strong bar, I thought this was a good place to go long. Now I got in on this one at 52, still hanging on to the idea that my stops are going to be down here, and hanging on to the idea that this overnight move was ready to go up. And this is really about 10:30 when this has happened, so it's about an hour and a half after the open. Toward the end of the morning sessions, still time before noon to see how price is going to wind out. There wasn't quite enough room to get to the top at 52, but if price was going to go at this point, it was going to go. Now, I had drawn on these lines right here. These angled lines to look at to show that maybe a channel. It really isn't. I mean, I'm really more concerned about how prices are reacting on the vertical axis as opposed to the horizontal. And if I'm looking at the vertical axis, I'm looking at how prices are moving up and down. The horizontal axis is more just a time issue. So you're looking at really price versus time, or price and distance, I guess it's called. But if you're looking at more, so I'm more concerned about the up and down, or what the auction process is, or whatever you want to call it. I was really more where the support and resistance is, rather than the direction of the slope per se. So that's usually in the back of my mind. Now, it's not that I don't look at these. I mean, certainly there was an uptrend here. You can see these bottom touches at this area. So this is a bit of so I drew these lines in there just to kind of give you some visual reference. But you can see this is the second entry long here, pulls back, and of course this one was when I got in on at 52. Now this turned out to be really the trade of the day. Pardon me, I still have that cough. Price moved up this 15 ticks. And took out the second contract. Kept moving higher. And I'm going to get this down here like this. Kept moving higher. And now what I'm showing here is that here's the part of the move that I was looking at. I expected more of it. You could get in on this one as well. First entry, second entry. I was already in on this trade, so I wasn't really looking at adding to the contracts. I mean, you never know, because this might just be an overshoot of this top channel. We could have direction to come back down, but certainly, depending on how you're trading it, if you get to this is enough of a pullback, is this enough of a run for it prices to go up higher? That's, and we're getting a little bit later. This is 11:20. Price did kind of stop up here, so it's kind of a spike in channel. We get a pullback, another air opportunity to get in now at the bottom of this channel. Again, this is more of an aggressive type of stance. It does work its way up and breaks through. Now, I don't know if it's going to be another move. I'm looking more along the lines of, I would suggest you look more along the lines of the interim move, maybe more like this, as the movement within the move. So you have this movement. This is a second entry long right here. A little early, perhaps. I mean, it looks like you could have, if you would have held on to it, it would have worked out. But do you hold on to all this, especially with this decline like this, to wait for it, to look for a turnaround? I'm not so sure. Especially when you get these bars side by side. Mac usually bails out, like if a situation like this, within 2 or 3 bars. If he sees a doji, if he sees bars that are not performing, he'll bail out right at these areas. And so that might be the case for you as well. But when price comes back down here, we have this turnaround, maybe after support. And if you look at, limiting in down here with your other, this is another area of support that I'd see. It would have allowed you to get out of this contract. But again, this is kind of late in the day. Giving the idea, you got your 15 tick versus 30 tick rotations up here. Prices moving up higher. We do have this pullback now, and right now it's 3 o'clock. So now price is closed out, and you can see that it just really kind of moves sideways from there. That's pretty much it. So really the idea for today was really the setup from this morning, looking at where price was going to move from this area, from where the open was, and then go from there. All I needed was 1 or 2 of these trades, and certainly looking at going short here wasn't a bad option either. I mean, when you look at it from the basis of a setup, if it's going to turn over. However, it doesn't move that far. And once you get these bars like this, if you're short, it's best for you to kind of sit in the sidelines and wait for perhaps another short entry. But it didn't come. And, this was it failed at this point in time, and it was time. And so the continuation was what I expected from this morning. Option 1. Let's just say, no, expect it. This is option 1. The other one just didn't take place. So you had to be flexible in that case. Once it did, you hang on to it and then just kind of ride it for all it's worth. And so that's pretty much it. What I also have is that I recorded this. I've got a recording on this one. Recording on this one too. I had recorded it, but I didn't put any sound on it. I had it running in the background. I'd never realized it actually. But I chopped it up, just kind of cut it back, just to kind of show where these were. Things that are a little bit more sophisticated that I can't really do on YouTube because people are still, it's people dropping in, taking a look at something. They won't know what I'm talking about. So I would rather focus my efforts for a smaller number of individuals, not that they're huge numbers at this point in time, on my website once it's operational. It's in testing right now. I'm going to talk about a couple of other things. It's for people that want to go through the slow hand method course, which I've outlined. It's taken a couple more weeks, a few more days longer than I expected, only because I want to make sure that it runs from a secure standpoint better. But that will be within the next short while that it'll be up and running. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is that once it's running, I'll give accessibility to those people that are interested and then email me. And you can email me at slowhandmethod@gmail.com. That's where you can email me at. And so if you email me there, for individuals that haven't already emailed me, I mean, don't email me again if you've already emailed me. But these are for new ones, new people that don't have an email, or you're concerned that maybe I don't have your email and you haven't heard from me, either in a bulk email or a bulk letter or something like that. You can certainly send it to me again. One of the challenges I have is that I have to keep track of all this stuff, and I'm not really great at that. that. So I hired somebody to do some of this stuff. But once I figure out with them how to kind of do this on a regular, more automated basis, I'm still have to do it myself manually, by and large. And this isn't a priority. My training's a priority. This other stuff is something that I like doing. I enjoy it, but the training that I have, my training is a priority. So if you have an interest in the slow hand method and the course and so forth, you can email me here. It's not. Don't worry about it. It's going to be recorded. You'll have accessibility to videos and so forth. So let me show you the other parts of it, and bye for now. Okay, this is Vance. Got in on this trade at 50.48, and it's a long. It top of the range. I think it's more of a, this is the open at 9 o'clock. I think price is going to push up here. I think it's going to maybe extend a little bit beyond or make an assault on what the daily high is. And so therefore I gone in long at this point. And you heard the reasons for it when I did a little bite this morning. So this is the trade that I'm sticking with, and see how it plays out. It's a second entry long. First entry pulls back, second entry long off of here. It's a little bit late. I waited for it to come back. I limited in at 48. Want to get my stop below or close to this area. This little tick down here, I think it was just kind of a fake out. I think more than anything else. Price solidified. I mean, ideally you'd want to get in right on this area if that was the case, but I didn't. I waited. This was just pre-market, so this was just a few minutes before 9 o'clock. I waited for 9 o'clock, and this is the 9 o'clock move right here. And I expected to kind of hit my first target at 50.63, and then I'll adjust from there. Okay, I'm adding this audio after the fact. This was the trade that I was talking about. It's at entry at 48. And at this 48, at 52, as you can see that there was a pullback on this area. It kind of a channel down here, but it was low enough that I still felt there was support, and I felt that there was going to be another move up. And that's why I got in on this trade and at that particular price, because the thesis that I had from this morning, that move up from the overnight, and the expectation that price was going to have another measured move to about the same degree, at least for the first contract. You can see my first target is going to be off at where the daily high is, or before the daily high. But my other it have to go above those daily highs in order for me to get the other contracts off. So that's why I entered at this level. I'm just putting on channels just to try to map it out, to try to figure out whether or not price is how it's going to respond to the channels that I'm putting in, and not sure whether it's going to hold or not, but just to kind of clean it up and just to try to give myself a visual reference as far as the chart is concerned. So that's why I've got this the way it is. And I'll leave it, see how that works out. I see hesitation really at the top of this channel, or where I have this channel. Now price has got to break through, and we're approaching at this point. We're approaching the 50-70 area, and we'll see how when price has to get up. It's got to get to my entry is at 52, so it has to get at 67, and that's where my first contract is off at 67. And then, of course, it'll have to go up to 82 to get the second contract off, and then see how price responds from there for the next one. So let's just take a look to see how it transpires. It hits those two contracts. So I tried to kind of cut it up and show where it was actually going to work out. Okay, we have a price moves up a bit, takes up my first contract. Moves up again, takes out the second contract, and then from there it had another move up. I kind of trailed my stop here, put it up, and there was some overlap, and then that was it. So that's it for now. As again, that was the last trades. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, and again, let me know. This is Vance. Bye for now.